Hi, welcome to another episode of Get Nosy with It, where we look into things that are of interest to me or other writers. I personally like doing the research part of a project, and today I'm going to talk about a local specialty of St. Louis, which is gooey butter cake. Because sometimes your characters may go somewhere and they need to know about the local foods. If you're doing something in the real world, then you'll need to research that actual city or area. But even in a fantasy world, if your characters just go into a pub and they drink mead and eat stew, that's kind of interesting. Maybe there is a local specialty in the kind of wine they produce. Maybe there is something in the stew that's special. Maybe there's a certain kind of fish in the lake that's near the town, whatever. You don't have to sit there for pages and pages going on and on about the different fish or whatever, but just as a background touch in your story, the fact that maybe your characters never had fish stew before, or never had this particular kind of fish, or has never seen leeks in a stew, whatever. But something can be different that you can use in a throwaway line that just helps build your world a little bit. If you come to St. Louis, the things that we're proud of are our toasted ravioli, which despite the name is actually deep fried and served with marinara sauce. They're very good. We also have our own style of pizza. Most people seem to like it. Even as a native St. Louisan, I can't say that it's my favorite, but a St. Louis style pizza is going to have a very thin, crackery crust, a little brush of marinara sauce and Provel cheese on it, and be served cut in square shapes instead of pie shapes. But also we have gooey butter cake. And so there's disagreement over who exactly invented the gooey butter cake and when this happened, but it was sometime in the 1930s. If you look for pictures on the internet of gooey butter cake, some of them look wrong. They're like light, fluffy cakes. That's not a gooey butter cake. Gooey butter cake is going to be kind of thin, it's very dense, and it's gooey. But instead of doing just a standard gooey butter cake recipe, you can find plenty of them on the internet. I'm going to do a variation. So we're going to do maple gooey butter cake topped with candied bourbon nuts. So first you're going to have to make the nuts because those are going to go on top of the cake, so they have to be done to prepare. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that goes into them, and on the screen I'll show you the recipe that I use to make the nuts. Okay, so once your nuts are done and they're cooling off a little bit so you can handle them, you'll need to start on the gooey butter cake itself. The crust is very easy. Here are the ingredients for that. Okay, once you have your crust in maybe a 9x13 cake pan, or I'm using two 8x8 pans today, you will need to then make the filling that goes on top of that crust. And here are those ingredients. Now, most gooey butter cakes are going to have vanilla instead of the maple extract, but since I'm making the maple gooey butter cake, that's why I did the substitution there. All right, that's going to go into the oven for about 40 minutes or so. You're not going to be able to do the old toothpick test on this because it's a gooey cake, so nothing's going to come out clean. Even when you're trying to cut into little squares, there's going to be goo everywhere. But it is very tasty. So I will show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. And that is a gooey butter cake. Normally they're not that thick, but with the nuts, made it a bit higher than usual. Remember, it's going to be kind of a flat, dense cake, flat, dense, sticky cake when it's finished if it's right. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed trying to make some gooey butter cake for yourself. Just a little taste of St. Louis. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and possibly hit that little bell notification button so you'll know when I add more videos to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.